Who doesn't like birthdays? This Sunday we celebrate the birth of the church. It's the day of Pentecost, and that's a great reason to celebrate. Did I hear you ask, what is the day of Pentecost? Well, I'm glad that you asked. When Jesus was here on earth, he spent time with people, teaching, healing, loving and restoring lives. He demonstrated the love and grace of his Father. That's God. Indeed, Jesus said that if you've seen me, that's Jesus, you've seen the Father. And so to use this simple terminology, Jesus and his Father are one. Jesus was present from the very beginning of time. He was there at creation. One of the richest scriptures that I know comes from John's Gospel, chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It goes on. Nothing was created except through him. He came into the world, but it did not recognize him. Even his own people, that is the Jews, they rejected him. But to all who believed and accepted him, he gave the right to become children of God. So the Word became human, became flesh, and lived or dwelt amongst us. This is Jesus, Son of the living God. We read further along in John's Gospel, 3:16, everyone's favourite verse. For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life. That verse is beautiful, but the one that follows at verse 17 also carries a wonderful and important message to us. God sent his Son into the world, not to judge the world, but to save the world through him. In Jesus we have hope. He himself reminds us that he is the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father other than through him. Now that's quite a claim, but it is the truth as described and demonstrated throughout the scriptures. Of course, Jesus in his earthly ministry demonstrated his claims in every way. Even when he was arrested and condemned to death on that cross, those around him wondered what was going on. How could this possibly be happening? Do you ever wonder what's going on? If you look around, do you ever ask the question, where is God in all of this? Jesus told his disciples ahead of time what was going to happen, but they just didn't understand. He promised that he was going to send the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, but they just didn't get it. After his death and resurrection, Jesus spent time with the disciples and many others, and then he eventually ascended into heaven. Then on the day of Pentecost, which we celebrate on Sunday, as the believers were meeting together in one place, Acts 2 verse 1 puts it this way. Suddenly it happened. No one knew what was going to happen, but they knew it when it happened. You just had to. They all heard what sounded like a mighty windstorm. Then what looked like tongues of fire appeared and settled on them, and they began to speak in other languages they'd never learned. And because of this suddenly, they were all completely amazed. Then Peter, he'd really messed up by denying Jesus. He stood up to speak, and in such a bold way. Through it all, he testified to Jesus as the Son of God. He pointed out that Jesus had promised the Holy Spirit, and that he had told them that he would never leave nor forsake us. The Holy Spirit is our advocate. He teaches and reminds us of Jesus' words. He equips and empowers us to be who God has called us to be. The Holy Spirit is still present with us, as Jesus said, even to the end of the age. And that is a promise. And it's a promise that we can rely upon. You don't have to wonder if God is in this. He is. His promises stand forever. He sent his Son not to judge the world, rather to save the world. He is for you, not against you. All who call upon the name of the Lord will be saved. Now that's worth thinking about and responding to.